Hello, how are you? It's Helen here from helenmartinonline.com. How's your day going? Whether that's morning, afternoon or evening, I've found a new filter. Can you see? So what I'm talking about today is overcoming trap 3 of the 5 traps of self-doubt. So I want to go through a trap 3. I have gone through trap 1 and 2 previously, so I'll just recap that for you in a moment. Perhaps we'll get rid of this filter so you can see me normally. Let's see what we can find here. How about some love? Should we have some love today? That'd be nice. Let's have some love. So, if you've not jumped on a live with me before, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. It is Helen here from helenmartinonline.com, and for the last few weeks I've been talking about self-doubt because we all have self-doubt. So if you're not familiar with me, or this is the first time you've jumped on a live with me before, put the number 1 down below so I can connect with you as a newbie. But predominantly what I do is help home-based business owners bring their business online. Now, I can't see anyone today, so how do we get rid of that? Bear with me. I am trying to get rid of something on my screen without getting rid of... Hang on. I'm not sure if anyone's on with me live because I can't see any comments today. We need to get rid of that. No, it's not going to go away for me today. Hang on. Modern technology, don't you love it? Just playing with my screen. And there we go. Okay, now I can see you. Arlene's on. How are you, Arlene? You love the hearts? Good. And Rob, how are you, Rob? Nice to see you on live. So now I can see comments. We're all good. So back to my little blurb. I help home-based business owners bring their business online. So talk about things like social media branding, lead generation, video marketing, etc. But once a week I come on and talk about like a personal development mindset type topic, because it really is about 80% or more of your success in life and definitely in business. I can teach you a lot of skills with building a business online, but I can't get into your head and make you believe in yourself. That's something you need to work on, and that's why I jump on once a week and talk about it. So one of the things that we all struggle with, no matter how happy you are or how successful you are, if anyone tells me that they don't have self-doubt creep in at some stage in their life, they're absolutely lying to me. I know that. So it'd be very rare for, somebody to not have any kind of element of self-doubt. So there's 5 main traps of self-doubt, and I've been speaking about these over the last few weeks, and we're on to number 3. So let me just recap what the 5 are. They're hesitating. I've just got some notes here so I don't forget. Hesitating, hiding, hypercritical, helplessness, and anxiety. So in previous weeks, I've already gone through in detail, if you're somebody that hesitates, how do you sort of rectify that? If you're somebody that's hiding away and not doing the things that you need to do to move your business forward, then I've discussed that in detail in the past. So what I'm concentrating on today is if you are somebody that's super hypercritical of yourself. So before I explain what that is there anyone on that thinks they're hypercritical of yourself? So you criticize yourself and you put yourself down. If that's you, put the number 1. No, don't put the number 1 because the number 1 was if you're new to me. Put the number 2 down below. If you're pretty hard on yourself, if you're sort of critical of yourself, if you doubt yourself, and you've got maybe belief systems that don't serve you well. Many people have this trait of being hypercritical, and how that shows up for you might be, let me explain. It really shows up mainly through to something that's happened in your past experiences. Now that might be something that you've lost money in the past, or maybe you've not grown up with money, so your family wasn't wealthy. So you have a belief pattern that you're probably never going to be really wealthy because you've never seen wealth like that in the past. Maybe you are super critical of yourself in your education. Maybe you don't have a higher education, so you think deep down that you're not good enough. Is that you? Maybe you've got a self-belief deep down that you don't live up to everyone else. You're comparing yourself to other people, and you just don't think you're good enough. So if those are the kind of things that show up in your life, it means that you're hypercritical of yourself. Now, where this shows up is not only you being critical of yourself, but it can show up in people like, and I'm guilty of this, in perfectionism. Anybody on the live today guilty of perfectionism or chasing perfectionism? Chasing perfectionism is really unhealthy because you never get there. Nothing's ever perfect. So when you strive for perfection, you're always striving for something more. You never get to perfection. It's just almost impossible. But having perfectionism in your life is really a shield to try to protect you from fear. Fear of being judged, fear of failure. So when you're striving for perfectionism, if you're perfect, then no one can judge you. If you're perfect, then no one can say bad things about you because, that was perfect. So you're never going to, get any negativity towards you. Hey, Angela, how are you? Great topic. I have to listen to the replay. I'll be back. No worries, Angela. Nice to see you briefly. But, if you're striving for perfectionism and you just want absolutely everything to be perfect, it means that you're actually fear of being criticized. You're fearful of being judged. You're fearful of doing something wrong. You're fearful of, not showing up the way that you want to show up. So being hypercritical can show up in those couple of ways. You've had things happen in your past that you judge yourself for. And if you're somebody that strives for perfectionism, it means that you're fearful of what other people, might be critical of you about. So that's how it might show up in your life. So if you're in a financial sort of crisis, you're digging your way out of, financial hardship, then you're probably quite hypercritical of yourself with money. You might be hypercritical of yourself in thinking that you're not good enough to achieve what you want to achieve. So the really damaging, destructive thing about being hypercritical of yourself is it's a game you play in your own brain, and you try to prove yourself right why you can't achieve the things that you want. So your mind is very, very busy. You could have elements of stress about this, where you are going through your mind thinking, I really want to be successful. I want my business to work. I want to be a better version of me. I want to be healthier. I want to be slimmer. I want to be happier. So you've got all these things in your mind that you're striving for. But when you're hypercritical of yourself, you play a game in your own mind telling yourself why you can't achieve those things. And you're probably not even consciously aware that you're doing it. And sometimes this comes from a really deep subconscious level. So, the money thing, if you've not come from a family that had a lot of money in the past, and maybe you haven't grown up with money, so deep down, you may not be consciously aware of it, but deep down, you've probably got a belief pattern, a belief system that thinks that you're never really going to be really wealthy because you don't even know what that is. So this is where you play a game, a very dangerous game against yourself in your own mind, and you're playing a tug of war with yourself. You want this, and you're telling yourself all these reasons here why you can't get there. I really want my business to grow, and I know I need to contact more people, I know I need to do these things, and I know I need to learn that, and I need to do this, this, and this. But then you're telling yourself, so you want that. You're striving for that. That's something that you really desire to have an outcome in your life. But then you're sitting there thinking, oh, what are they going to think of me if I do that? Or I can't do that because I'm not good enough. Or I haven't had success in the past, so who's going to listen to me? Or I'll probably never really be really wealthy anyway because I haven't been in the past. Or who's going to listen to me because I've not got an education. I didn't go to university or college or, whatever it is that you could go to. So who's really going to listen or learn from me? So it's this massive tug of war within your own mind, and you end up talking yourself out of being successful, whether you realize it or not. Does this resonate with anybody? Are you feeling what I'm saying? If anybody's sort of connecting with this, please send me some likes and loves that you're understanding, what I'm saying here. I do it myself. I know this is what I'm striving for over here, but then this little self-doubt creeps in and, am I good enough to do that? Rob, you're putting limits on yourself. Yeah, and bottom line, you are the problem, but you're also the solution. The only person that can turn this around is you. And this is a really negative pattern of self-belief if you're super hypercritical of yourself. If you're striving for perfectionism, you need to let that go because you never get there. Nothing's ever perfect. So it's really hard to chase perfectionism. And absolutely, Rob, you nailed it. You'll end up self-sabotaging any success that you do have. And I have done this. I have had success in various areas of my life. And then you end up, you're doubting yourself whether you're worthy of that, whether you can maintain that. And before you know it, you're not taking the action anymore and you're self-sabotaging yourself from keeping on going on what you know you've already achieved. So self-sabotage is a huge, huge one when you are super hypercritical of yourself. So as I said before, you are the problem because it's stuff going in your own brain. You're playing a tug of war with yourself. Hands up to it, done it. Credit to you for putting your hand up, Rob, because I'm sure most people have. So it comes down to sometimes things that have happened in your past. As a kid growing up, failures that you've had, money that you've lost, education that you didn't follow through with, opportunities that you've let slide by, and you've made a judgment of yourself that's buried in your beliefs that you're not good enough. You're not as good as that person, or you start doubting yourself as to, whether you can really achieve what it is you want to achieve. So you end up talking yourself out of the things that you're actually striving for. So this is a really dangerous, vicious cycle when you don't break being super hypercritical of yourself. Now, before I go on to the solution, I just want to check my notes to make sure I covered everything. Because I always write notes and I never read them. So, one last thing before I go into the solution. It really is just a mental thinking pattern that keeps you safe. So over these videos that I've done regarding the 5 traps of self-doubt, I've said numerous times that your brain is naturally wired to protect you from harm, to protect you from fear, to protect you from feeling uncomfortable. So it's going to stop you from doing the things that are uncomfortable, from, making major breakthroughs, because your brain is inherently wired to protect you from anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. So this is exactly what perfectionism is. It's, striving for perfectionism and having this mental thinking pattern, which, is describing here being hypercritical of yourself. It's just keeping you safe from harm. It's keeping you safe from being uncomfortable. It's keeping you safe from potentially being hurt for a few minutes. Your brain doesn't understand scary, and it doesn't want to, unless you have a conscious thought pattern that you are hypercritical of yourself. Your brain is wired to keep you safe and to keep you from being uncomfortable. So how the hell do we overcome it? So how you overcome it, you're not going to like the answer, because this is the bit that nobody wants to do because it makes them feel uncomfortable. The only way you're going to overcome being hypercritical of yourself and stopping you, which stops you from doing the things you need to do to be successful, is taking action. Now, I'll explain that in a minute. Arlene, when I can't be perfect in something, I just don't do it. I think you mean we'll just not do it. Sorry, I read that wrong. I know, Arlene, but how stifling is that to our progress in our life? Like, people don't do things because they don't feel like it. People don't go to the gym because they don't feel like it. People don't eat healthy food because they just don't feel like it. It's uncomfortable. It's not, it doesn't make you feel good necessarily. So people don't do things. And I'm the same, Arlene, because unless I think I can do something really, really well, I'll stop myself from doing it. Or if I create a document or something, I will fuss over it for way too long because I just don't think it's good enough. So all we're doing when we're striving for that is we're trying to protect ourselves from criticism. And that is not life. It's just impossible. So it's really important to understand it's impossible to be perfect. So if we can know that and understand that and fight through it and go, well, perfection doesn't exist, then, Arlene, yes, that's me. Yes, I know. So, yeah. So it's important to understand perfectionism doesn't exist. And the only way to overcome perfectionism and overcome being really super hypercritical of yourself, Rob, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Absolutely. You said it 100%. Same with being hypercritical of yourself. The only way you can overcome this thinking pattern that is buried deep because of your beliefs of stuff that's probably happened in the past is to take action. So no one likes to hear that because that means doing something that's going to be uncomfortable. So let's say it's, picking up the phone and talking to somebody and you're thinking, oh, what are they going to think of me? I don't really want to do that because that's going to make me feel uncomfortable. So this is where, I think it was the first self-doubt element that I talked about. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it anyway. The only way you're going to overcome any of these self-doubt elements and things that hold you back in life is taking action. So let's say you do need to contact somebody, send them a message or pick up the phone and call them or something. So my brain is wired to stop me from doing that. I know that. I know I'm a perfectionist and I know perfection doesn't exist. So what am I afraid of? So you pick up the phone. What's going to happen? Are you going to die at the end of that phone call? No, you're not. So when you realize the outcome is actually not as bad as you think it is, perfection does not exist, and the only way that you're going to overcome being super hypercritical of yourself is to take action, then you've just got to do it. It really comes back down to how badly do you want what you're striving for. If you don't want it badly enough, you're not going to take the action and you are going to stay stuck for the rest of your life. Rob, a good book, The 5-Second Rule, highly recommend it. Mel Robbins, she's a legend. I'm actually doing a course of hers as we speak. The 5-Second Rule is amazing. Even when you don't feel like doing something, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it anyway. So you have to push yourself to do things you don't want to do. It's the only way you're going to overcome any of these self-doubts. It's the only way you're going to, tongue-tied, overcome being super hypercritical. And if you don't take that action that makes you feel uncomfortable, then you are just proving yourself right as to why you can't achieve what it is you want to achieve. So if that's where you want to stay stuck, then don't do anything. Don't take any action, and you will run that course for the rest of your life. So the reason why I talk about this stuff is because probably majority of people have been stuck too long already. I've been stuck for years on certain things, and it doesn't mean I still don't get stuck now. I've just learnt skills and things to help me shift faster. So self-doubt still creeps in my life all the time. But then I recognize what it is. And I recognize that, okay, my brain is here to keep me safe. This makes me feel uncomfortable. I know that. And I know I've got to take action to get overcome it. So just do it, Helen. Just do it. I've trained my brain to think that way, because if I don't, I'm never going to become unstuck. I'm always going to have self-doubt appear in my life, in not just business, in all areas. So when you're stuck in self-doubt, it's probably showing up in a lot of areas of your life, not just business. Probably how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself. It might be your health, it might be your weight, it might be your looks, it might be your confidence. It's probably showing up in a number of areas. Can anybody resonate with that? Send me some likes and loves if that makes sense. So this working on yourself and working through things like self-doubt, if it was easy, no one would have self-doubt. If it was easy, everyone would be striving and achieving everything they ever wanted. So how many people do you know walking the planet that have said, yep, I set these goals and I achieved every single one of them? I don't know if that's a good thing or not, Arlene. Arlene said, Helen, you sound like my mum this morning. Thanks for the talk. I don't know whether to take that good way or a bad way, Arlene. But, you know, very rarely will you come across people that go, yep, I set goals for myself at the beginning of the year and I've achieved every single one of them. If you come across something like that, ask them how they've done it, seriously. Because that very rarely happens. Why? Because we've generally all got beliefs buried deep down from good way. Thank you, Arlene. That's right, Rob. Nothing is meant to be easy. And if it is easy, it's probably not going to make you really, really successful. So the hardest things in life are the ones that are going to give you the greatest rewards. It's just the way that is. And we have to accept that we have to step out of our comfort zone and do some work on ourselves if you want to change the outcomes in your life. So if you're not really happy, if you're not earning the money that you want to earn at the moment, if you are not looking, feeling, have the confidence that you would really like to have, then you have to do some work. If you are not willing to do the work, if you're not willing to take the action, if you're not willing to put into place 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it anyway type of strategies, then you are going to stay in your self-deprecating thought patterns probably for the rest of your life. So this is not easy, and I would never profess to claim that it is. I work on this stuff myself constantly. And it's really hard to do things that are uncomfortable. It's really hard to call somebody when you don't really want to. It's really hard to put something out there in the big wide world, even online, when you don't know if anyone's going to listen to you or what people are going to think of you. And Gwyneth, hello Gwyneth, how are you? Totally 100% right in what you're saying, Helen. I appreciate your feedback, Gwyneth, and just knowing that you're understanding sort of what I'm saying. So put the work in. And so this third, what am I talking about? Trap. I was trying to think of the right word. This third trap that I'm concentrating on today about being super hypercritical of yourself. Understand that that's probably wired from a while ago. It could have something to do with how you were brought up. It could be something to do with your schooling, something to do with your parents, something to do with money, something to do with losing money, something like that. So that's with you for life. The fact that your brain is wired to protect you from harm and things that are uncomfortable, that is there, with you for life. So unless you put the work in, you're very aware of these type of things. And as soon as you think about those things, think, okay, I know that's how I'm wired to think, I have to do something different, then your life will never change. That's just reality. I'm sorry, I know you want an easier answer, but it's just reality. The only thing that's going to overcome these traps of self-doubt is taking action to do what you know. You know this information now, so there's no excuses. That's the thing. If you raise your level of awareness of all of this, then you have the ability to change your life. It's when you don't have the awareness, and that's why I talk about it, and I'll always continue to talk about this stuff, because this is what shifts people. This is the stuff that truly helps you move through your crap, for lack of a better word, and we all have it. I'm not saying that I don't have it. We all have it in some regards. because of our past or because of things that have happened in our life. So you just have to try to learn to rewire your brain to think differently, be conscious of what you know is going on, be conscious of the fact that your brain will always protect you from being uncomfortable. It'll always try to keep you safe. Safe is not going to give you success. Safe keeps you on the couch when you know you should be in the gym. Safe keeps you eating pizza when you know you should be eating spinach. Does that make sense? Safe is going to keep you from taking the action in the business because things you need to do are probably going to be uncomfortable. So just please have a great level of awareness of that and try to push through. Take the action that you know is uncomfortable, but when you do, you're still alive. You went to the gym and you came home and you're still alive. You picked up the phone, you spoke to somebody, and was it that bad? No, probably not. Maybe you're building your business online. You pressed live. You're absolutely crapping yourself, but you did it anyway. A few people connected with you and you got off, and are you still alive? Yes, you are. Things aren't often as bad as you think they're going to be. So just take that action that makes you feel uncomfortable and push through it, because that's the only way you're going to overcome these traps of self-doubt. Did you get some value from that today? I know it's not the answer that everyone wants to hear, but that's just reality, and it's the only way you're going to overcome these things. So I share this because I'm passionate about helping people being better versions of themselves. So if you think somebody can get value from this message or any of the traps that I'm talking about over these number of weeks, the 5 traps of self-doubt, please share this with people, because the more people that have awareness around these issues around self-doubt, then more people have the ability to change the way they think. When you change the way they think, you actually have the ability to change your beliefs. And when you start believing in yourself, and when you start backing yourself, and when you start having confidence in what you're doing and taking the action you need to take to get where you want to go, that's when you will achieve success. And you are worth that. So it's worth putting the effort in to have the success that you deserve. So I hope you found that valuable today. If you did, just give me some feedback below. Yes, Helen, that was valuable. Yes, that resonated with me. Just letting me know, whether this is connecting with you or not is really valuable for me and future content that I can deliver to you. So any of you that were on with me live, thank you. I'm ever so grateful for anybody that jumps, online, especially at ridiculous hours of the morning like you do, Rob, like 2 o'clock in the morning. That's the beauty of a worldwide business, is as long as you've got an internet connection, you can talk to anybody from anywhere. It's the message, it's the value, that we bring that's the important thing. So thank you for listening, Arlene. And tomorrow's Facebook Live, I'm really excited about. I'm interviewing Tyson Zahner. Now, I don't know if you know who Tyson is, but Tyson is a multiple 6-figure, probably 7-figure earner by now in the network marketing space and online space. So if you are in a home-based business, please tune in with me tomorrow. Tyson was in network marketing for 18 years and joined 3 different companies, and in 18 years recruited no one. Gwyneth, thanks Helen, I love listening to you and got great value. Thank you so much for letting me know that, Gwyneth. I appreciate you taking the time to type that out. So he was in the industry for 18 years and failed dismally. And then he came across attraction marketing, so all the stuff that I teach, and he recruited over 1,000 people into his home-based business opportunity, network marketing opportunity in under 12 months. So I want to pick Tyson's brain tomorrow and just get, a feel for him of what he did and how he did it, and, see if he can share some of his wisdom and insights with us as to, how we can truly use attraction marketing to get the results that he's had and build a 6-figure business. So please tune in with me tomorrow for that interview with Tyson. And if you are on live with me, say hello to him and send him some love, because he's just giving up his time to do this for me. So, if we can show him some appreciation if you're on live, that would be awesome. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.